Welcome aboard. Glad to see you here today. Thanks for joining me on Ferg TV. I'm Ray. In today's little project, as I kind of spruce up the Redwood RV fifth wheel, today's little project is to put a gas strut on that door. Now, it's got the same hinges on that door as it has on this one, and this one stays up. It stays up because the door goes up a little bit further, and the hinges get into the position where they'll hold it up. This one doesn't because the handle hits the ceiling. I got it propped up, or it would come right back down. So I'm going to attempt to do this. We'll put you in position here. Even though I'm a cabinet maker, I haven't done any of these gas struts yet. So they're not hard to do. You just have to figure out where the placement of everything goes. And I've been looking at that a little bit. And it looks like I'm going to have to put a spacer block back here for my bottom bracket because they want it to be 13/16 from the front edge back. Then the next thing to decide will be, where do we put the one that goes up on the door? And I'm not so sure that these aren't too large here, so I have to figure out if that's going to work or not. So then with this rod out there, I don't know, because maybe I can compress it. Well, no, you can't compress it, because if it doesn't extend that all the way up, it's going to want to keep the door down. So with that on there and this out here, when that door comes down, I don't know that it's not going to compress this too much and hit here. And it very well might. And really the only way to do it is to actually mount it. So, as they say, no guts, no glory. So I think what we'll do is we'll get this block mounted in here first. And then once that's mounted in, we'll put that base plate on. And then I'll just have to guess at a place out there and see if it's gonna work. All right, let me round up some tools. I'll be right back. Okay, so I bored a couple of holes in this block, 3/4 of an inch in. So let's put this in, and I've already checked the length of my screws, so they shouldn't come through more than a 1/2 inch, and I'll just bend them over. No, kidding. You know what? I mean, it's in tight. It's not going anywhere, probably. So the next thing would be to put this bracket on there. If you read the directions, this won't work. So we're done with the directions, and we're going to try to make it work. Whether it does or not, we are yet to see. Let's get this thing screwed in here. I tried to buy smaller struts, but sometimes on the internet it's a little difficult to find things. Now, with that in place, my thought is that we'll pop that rod back on, and then put this out here, bring that door up as far as it can go, try to keep that in line here. It says all clear. It looks like it wants to ride like 1 inch and 3/16, like right there. Just go for it. Okay, get a screw in there. And we can't really test this until we get 2 screws in it, because I think it's going to be too much to ask for 1 screw to hold this bracket. Now there is adjustment on it. Kind of went to the middle, so should leave us a little bit of adjustment. Now with this on here, I might have enough leverage to pop that off. Yeah, okay. So with that popped off, I can drill the other hole. That didn't move the bracket. And let's see. Try to go to the center. So it does give me an adjustment. This is either going to bear fruit, or I got 2 holes to fill. I'm pretty good at filling holes. struts in there. Alright, so we pop this back on. Get this stuff out of the way. Just as I suspected. Not gonna work. And we just don't have we need something shorter than this. Now those holes may work out with another rod, so I'm not gonna worry about it just yet. These are not going to work. I mean, in reality, you'd like to have this shorter and put the rod out here so that when that closes, it pushes the rod down, but not all the way, and then it goes past center and it pops it back up. That's what holds it in. Guess we'll take this down. That's a fail for now. It's a fail for now. But I got plenty of other projects to do today, so we'll just go on to number 962. Okay, little update on the strut. My wife went online. She had better luck than I did. She found 6 and 7-inch hydraulic or gas struts. So we ordered some up, should be here tomorrow, and then I'll go back and tackle that job up there. But in the meantime, I got plenty on my plate. Look what just came in. Boop. Welcome to Ferg TV. I'm Ray, and if you were here on the last video, I was working on putting my gas struts up here, which I purchased some that were too long. Sue found some shorter ones yesterday. They're here today. Life is good. All right, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Hey, today we're gonna test our luck again. Let's see. I mean, I drilled yesterday for the attachment down here. This looks like it might have the same drill pattern. Let's see. Huh? Spot on. Wow. All right, we'll put those in. That could make short work of this thing. I'd have to say it's in the right place. That's based on nothingness. I guess it's based on my hoping it's in the right place. Okay, that's tight. And that's tight. So, if this thing goes here, I'll say, there, and then that thing goes there. I might have to move that thing. That is only going to bring it up like that. I don't think there was any instructions with this. Well, plus except for these. Let's see what it says. So after reading the instructions, oh wait a minute, that gives me another measurement. 240 millimeters. What is that in inches? Anybody? Because I don't know. Convert to inches. 9 7/16. We can't be 9 7/16. This isn't even 9 inches. This thing's only about 8. The way I see it. And of course, it didn't work out yesterday. Get that right out of the way. Alright. This is much easier when that's mounted. That's a learning experience from yesterday. Just when you think you can't get any smarter, it happens. Seems to me that thing wants, it says 3/8. Is it 3/8 to the center? No. 3/8 of an inch from the edge, so that's half of that. So we can put one screw there. Now why wouldn't that work right there? I'm thinking that would work. I said that yesterday. So 3/8, that's half of that. Put a mark right there. pop this guy off. Yeah, that works even better. Okay, so if we're gonna go right there, I can put one screw on the face frame and 2 screws in the block, just like so. If this works, I'll be happy, of course, and I'll duplicate it. Right. Alright, now we want 2 3/4 inches from the hinge, but I don't know if they're talking about from here or from like the center of that, because they're looking at a piano hinge and that's not what we're using. And I don't know if that's gonna have an effect on us. But 2 3/4 inches. That there. See how close we can come to make them happy. Okay. So it seems to me that wants to go about there. I really don't have a choice, because that needs to go about right there. And the measurements that they're giving me, I don't know that they're going to play into this. I may have some more holes to fill. But that's the thing I do best. Fill holes. We're in it to win it. I think we may have won. Tighten it up a little bit. Okay, beautiful. Kind of keep it in the middle there. Yeah, I guess it is. All right. And then we'll pop this guy on. I'll say, pop this guy on. There. Sheesh. I'm going to venture to say it's not going to come flying off. Let's see if that will shut. My God, I think we have a winner. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, so the first thing that we had to do is kill all the juice coming into the coach. It killed the electrical switch, but also I unplugged it. So there's nothing going into this panel, because that's where we're working now. We're going to work at the electrical panel. This is the screw that got stripped. So these 4 go through the outside panel. These 2 hold it in place until you put the panel on, the cover I should say. So I'm going to take these 2 screws out and I'm going to show you what I found yesterday. Okay, so now with those screws out rather, then I have to remove the panel, which of course is all your electrical wires. And there is a lot of them. They're all going. This is basically a circuit panel. So this is what I found. Okay, so what they did was they don't pre-drill anything. So they were too close to the edge and they didn't go in on a slight angle. If they did, they might have gone that way even. And so it cracked all of this out. I glued that together yesterday just to have something solid to work with. What we're gonna do is pre-drill this and put a wood dowel in it and start all over with a brand new hole. So you can see what's happening here. Where the panel ends up, here's where your rail meets your stile and it comes down. Well, basically the screws have to go right at the edge. So they did put an extra piece of wood over here, which is a good thing. The problem is they only pin nailed it and they didn't put any glue or anything to hold it. So of course when you put a wedge in, a screw that you didn't pre-drill, what happens? it pushed the wood away, and then, you know, things don't bite. So we pre-drilled the holes, or I did, and put 3 new screws in that'll hold this piece of wood in place. These holes are now okay on that side. We're going to today repair this one. So at this point, I'm going to take and put a dowel in there. I'm going to show you how to do that, because this would apply to any hole that you run across in your house that gets compromised, stripped out, and you can fix it by simply drilling out a hole a little smaller than the dowel that you're going to use, and put some glue on it, drive the dowel into the hole. It's going to be snug, let the glue set up. We're going to cut the dowel off, and then we'll pre-drill a new hole, and we're back into new solid wood. Easy peasy. All right, let's get going. So let's talk about the tools that you need. First of all, you need a dowel. I don't know what size dowel that is, but I do know that it's slightly larger than the 1/8 inch drill bit that we're going to use, and that's all that's important to me. You're going to need some glue, and you're going to need a wet rag, paper towel, something of that nature, just to wipe up any little glue residue that might be on there. So what we're going to do now is drill this hole out, because we know that that is where that screw's going in, because that is our original hole. I used some Gorilla Glue here yesterday, a polyurethane glue. And what I don't want to do is expand this too much here. So I'm going slow. And we're going to drive that dowel in there and go a little deeper. There's no rush here. We'll introduce it to that wood slowly so it doesn't expand what we have there already. Open it up again. I mean, if you could, you would want to put a piece of wood here and hold it in. But we're gonna fix this, and remember, this hole, I can do it whatever I want after. So I'm gonna probably put that screw in on a slight angle, because there will not be a hole here after, and it'll be a brand new one that we're working with. All right, that's plenty deep enough. So now we're gonna check our dowel. And that is going to go in there just nice and snug. That's probably an 1/8 inch dowel. I had it up in the shop, so that's why I'm not sure what it is. I didn't just go and purchase it. And it's probably an 1/8 inch dowel, and it's just made a little bit bigger than an 1/8, or it probably even has swollen over time. So we're going to put a little glue in there. The glue that I'm using is a type 3 that's good for exterior use, but you don't need that, just regular wood glue. I just happen to have that in my bottle that I grabbed, and I wanted to use it because of this tip here. My other bottles don't have a glue tip like that. All right, so we've got glue in there, and now we're gonna put our dowel in. Let's see if I can't twist it and put it in, or we'll just tap it. But I'm gonna back that out. I'm gonna cut this a little bit shorter. It'll be easier to work with. I'm just gonna cut it with a razor blade knife. Make it a little bit smaller. Yep, score it a little bit and snap it. Boom. Okay, kind of working off camera there, I realized that, but I'm working in a tight spot, and I had trouble even lighting this because I had to kill the juice to the trailer. I don't know if I mentioned that, but there is no juice going here, so I couldn't put any interior lights on. So I'm holding this, so I'm probably in your way, but basically what I'm doing is I just don't want to feel that opening up. Okay. All right, that feels like it's bottomed out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to leave this for about an hour and come back, and I'll snap that off, and then we'll pre-drill our hole. And we'll go on a slight angle here, and we're going to put our panel back on. All right, we just fast forwarded an hour, and we're back. So we're going to trim this up, and all we're going to do is just score this a little bit. I don't know if that's in frame, but we're just going to score this dowel a little bit so that it'll snap off. And one thing I didn't mention is all of this that we're doing is never going to be seen. So it's all structural. So it's all going to be behind that panel. Cut that. There. All right, so we just scored it so that we could snap it. So with that done, this is all glued. That hole is now filled. What we're going to do now is put our panel back in place and drill ourselves a new hole. Okay, so we will get this panel back in just by pushing our wires in and sliding that guy right in. Okay. Put our screws back in. Now these holes were all right, so we'll just put them back in. And then we're going to put our panel back on right after we drill our hole. Now we're going to use a different drill bit here. We're going to use a tapered bit, and I'll show you. Okay, good. That's nice and sturdy. Now these holes are all for the panel itself, the outside cover, I should say. So what we're going to do is we're going to change our drill bit from our standard drill bit to a tapered drill bit. I don't know if you can see that right there. And then we're going to just drill this off on a little bit of an angle here. The reason I'm going to do a tapered drill bit is we're going to bite as we go in there. Watch. So I'm going to go on a slight angle. That ought to do it. Let's grab that cover. Put this guy back up. So all the other screw holes were already okay or already fixed. I showed you what I did there. I'm going to take this guy. Now we drilled that on a little bit of an angle. Boom, nice and tight. And that is going to be a success. Tight. 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 Okay, they're all tight. Okay, so that ended up being a success when you see how we got there. And there was only one way to do it. That was the right way. You had to fill the hole, start from scratch, put the screw in on a little bit of an angle. And if I can show you here, you can kind of see where this line is right here. That is the edge of this. And that's why we went on a little bit of an angle in that direction over there. So the next little project is going to be putting in some of these cable door stops. Sure. Nothing more than this stainless steel cable and a couple of screws. Just keep it like everything hits. Not everything, but there's a lot of things that hit in places. And we're going to stop that. Put a stop cable. No pun intended. So we'll put it out here. And then we'll just find the spot that we want here. So we're going to put it on here. Now we'll take this guy, turn that flat side up, and we'll figure out where we want this to go. See, it's important here because this molding goes right into that glass. I guess it's glass. I don't know, it's probably plastic. So I think we're going to put that right about there because there's no reason why it has to open more than that. Drill that. Okay, we want that one to move. That's just a little bit too too much. There you go. Perfect. Alright, well, we know it's going to show. And it clears. No binding. Okay, cool. I'm backing this up and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, let's wrap up today's repairs. So we did our cables. 1, 2. Tools are still all over the place. 3. Those are all set. 4, 5, 6, 7. See, these all make contact. And 8. Probably can't see that. Doesn't matter, I guess. Number 8. Those are the ones I did today. But before that, we did over here 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. So now we don't have contact anywhere. Well, I think that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. And if you got a minute, if you have the energy, if you could give us the old up yours, don't do it for me. Do it for YouTube. They love that sort of thing. And then one of these days down the road when you're watching something from me and you think, you know what? It had a little value to it. Subscribe. I'd love it. All right. Till the next time. Thanks.